Hey y'all, what's up? Your girl G here. Welcome back to my channel. Appreciate you for tuning in. Now look, y'all, we got to get into this episode of Love After Lockup. I know I'm kind of a day behind, but honestly there wasn't too much this episode. This really looked more like a filler episode. And we did get introduced to a new couple as well. So I wanted to get into that. And girl Shante, ooh girl, I know your feelings is hurt, but we need to discuss your plan of action because deep down you know what's going on with True, but you are not wanting to let go. Miss Mamas, we gonna need you to let go, all right? Get frozen, let it go, okay? But nonetheless, you guys, if you're new to my channel, I appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, okay? Do your girl a favor and also like the video as well. So let's go ahead and get into it, and let's knock out the first couple that didn't really have a lot going on this episode, which was Leticia and Keith. So like I said, there wasn't really too much going on with this couple, but there was some unfortunate news for Latisha this episode. She ends up getting a call from a lawyer that they ended up paying $1,000 to because she called Keith's prison, and they basically let her know that girl, I don't know what you're talking about. Keith ain't on the list for early release, because they ended up changing the law in this state. And so he basically would have had time served. And so Latisha was just wondering, okay, like, when am I going to get the information of when he could potentially get out? But the prison guard or whoever was on the phone was letting her know, like, well, man, we don't see him on the list, so I can't tell you any information. You're going to have to talk to your lawyer. So obviously she's feeling some type of way because she's like, yo, we paid $1,000 and, we haven't heard from the lawyer since. So girl is given, you might have ended up getting one of those sleazeball public defender lawyers where they just do bare minimum and don't really, give justice. We'll just put it that way. So like I said, long story short, with Tisha and Keith, she need to call and see what's going on and make sure her man is on the list for early release because she want him out. And unfortunately too, Tisha, when he get out, me and you gonna have a conversation about the way you are ignoring your daughter's emotions and feelings, the oldest one, in regards to your man. Now we do know Latisha is not the greatest with Keith's sister because she didn't appreciate the fact that she took $15,000 to buy her ring. But sister, your brother allowed it to happen, so you're gonna need to back off, all right? But let's go ahead and move to the next couple. So Zuri and Troy, I call her Zuri because everybody call that girl by different pronunciations. First is Zuriya, I don't know which one, so girl, you Zuri. But long story short, y'all remember Zuri, she was messing with Troy's cellmate, which originally was her first husband and her baby daddy, but she didn't put the baby daddy down on her son's birth certificate. And Troy basically said, if I'm going to be with you, I'm going to be the child's father. And Lord Jesus, Zuri put that man's name on the birth certificate. And it's like, it's so, I guess, cute and gesture when you think about it, of like, from the perspective of, oh, I got this man that is willing to take in my son, and be a dad to him. But Missouri, it's almost like you're forgetting that, that witchcraft lady. I'm just playing, y'all wasn't witchcraft, but the lady was letting you know, this is gonna go up in flames. You do not need to put yourself in this mess. It ain't gonna work, boo-boo. But she's enjoying Troy after he got out of jail. They done did a nice little V steam for her veg and his balls, because boy, you was not finna put that thing in me straight out of prison. But they, did the do, and now it's time to go to the home. And he, meets her son. He's super excited, already calling him dad. And when that happens, y'all don't understand how much, like, I literally get aggy. Like, in the pit of my stomach, I just get so pissed off because it's like the way women are introducing their kids to these men from prison, and nothing about them. And usually, like how their family members say, it's like, okay, yeah, it's all good and dandy when you're talking on the phone, but in real life, real life, when he get out of jail, it's going to be an adjustment. And a lot of the times too, these prisoners, the minute they get out, one, they go to run it, they want to go run it, everything, and two, they have to do a mental adjustment because a lot of them do suffer from anxiety, trying to get reacclimated to the new world that has happened. When they gone in, held True, for instance, he went in when he was young, and now he getting out and is having to figure out stuff. But nonetheless, Zuri, she comes home finally. Her son jumps up talking about dad. Troy is all happy, hugging him and everything, and it's just like, it's so upfront, surface level, cute. But when you really try to digest what the is going on, you're like, this isn't right. It just isn't right. And so Zuri comes in. She hands Troy, I guess, a gift that she kind of bought for her son on his behalf. And so they go sit down and they're talking about, I can't wait to do this and together. And so she goes in the kitchen with her sister. And, the sister wants to know the tea. She wants to know what's up, what happened. When you got out, did you get that prison zik? Okay. And she said, girl, yes, for 3 hours. Yikes. It's giving real, I'm going to need to put my vagina on ice. And girl, Zuri, with you now hooking up with this man and clearly enjoying, that prison zik. You gonna get wrapped up, because if there's anything we know about prison men and that good Z, it makes the women go crazy. All right. And Zuri, I'm just polo tink tink. But the sister, she said hi to Troy and everything, but she still got her good eye on him. And she was just like, I really don't feel comfortable here. I don't know how long basically I'll stay here. Did anything else happen after that with Troy? Oh yes, Troy needed to go meet his mom. So Troy's mom hasn't seen him in like 7 years. When he went in, basically they lost contact, and obviously he feels some type of way. His feelings are hurt. And so he goes to meet his mom at the train station. She cries and hugs him and everything. And he wanted to know, like, Ma, where were you? You were MIA. And she let him know, basically, like, she started turning to alcohol. She, was down in the bottle. That's liquor, okay? She was on that liquor and missed out on his life. And, she just started crying. And in a sense, he kind of, like, gave her grace because she was, suffering from that addiction, but it still doesn't negate his feelings. But a lot of times too, you inmates also got to learn too, when y'all do stupid shit and go to jail, to feel entitled to your family, basically their life stopping because your life stopped, is what a lot of inmates tend to do. For example, Mendices and Yandy, one of his things was always like, oh, you was out at the club, and my life was just in here while you was out doing the thing. But in all actuality, Yandy wasn't out there clubbing. She was making appearances so she could keep food on the table for y'all's kids. That's what was really going on. And so it's like, even with the other mom, what's the mom that be with Hope, Hope and Arthur, she was the same thing. It's like, you kept going back to jail and I got your brothers and sisters to take care of, but nonetheless, it looks like Troy is willing to rebuild with his mother, and we're just gonna have to see what goes on with that. But Missouri, you are about to be a glutton for punishment, because you can't say that you weren't warned. So let's go ahead and move on to the next couple. Now, speaking of glutton for punishment, when I tell you Kim is a girl who has decided she's gonna keep running into the same goddamn wall. So Kim is with Joey, and Joey is basically low-key a high school sweetheart, we could call it. And Joey back in the day was a bad boy who was getting all the girls, so much so he was even got Kim's cousin. And in high school, when her cousin was with Joey, she was cheating like she was the other woman from her cousin with Joey. That's why she felt all bold and, high and hoity-toity when she went to her cousin to get her nails done to let her know, hey girl, Joey's getting out and we gonna be together. And it's like, you think you're winning something and you're not, because one, she's super insecure. She's never been not in a relationship. She said it herself, she's a serial monogamist. People who do not know how to be alone, you need to go to therapy. You need to figure out what it is. But Joey has gotten out and they spent their, few nights in the cabin while I think it was his mom. Yeah, his mom ended up watching Kim's son. Now, Joey's mom has said herself that Joey is a career criminal / addict. And Joey's in jail saying that, he's been getting clean off the opioids. That's the white people's drug of choice. The whites love them some opioids. And, this country loves to say, oh, it's just addiction. They need to go to rehab. But when it be, other folks, brown folks, skin folks, now all of a sudden it's send them to jail. But nonetheless, that's a different conversation. Kim and Joey spent their time together. They did the do. Y'all know that's one of the first things these inmates do when they get out. All they want is a plate of food and some puss. Okay, so Kim and him are on the way home. It's now time to get back, to reality. And the reality is she has 2 sons that he's decided to be the father of. And it's really one of those situations, once again, where it seems like women are so quick to throw their kids into the situation, almost as if like, once my kids get involved, then that means, he's going to like latch on, he's going to stay. And if there is some type of connection between the kid and the dude, then that might make him feel obligated to stay. And it's like, no ma'am, you can have kids that call that man daddy or whatever. If he want to go and run away and walk away, he can. And that's why the problem is, like, they're so fast to throw their kids in these situations. I get so annoyed. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about that. And do you agree with what I'm saying? But on the way home, Kim and Joey, they basically start talking about the boys and him, just being excited. But obviously Kim is worried because at the end of the day, like, he is an addict. And once you start stressing and having anxiety and feeling overwhelmed, a lot of them, the first thing to do, obviously, is to hit the pipe or whatever their drug of choice is. And she is concerned about that. But Kim, you're glutton for punishment because you're more inspired by the point of making a point to all the other women that he's been with versus how this can really affect the reality that you're in. And here Joey is talking about, oh yeah, kids, it's always they want to throw like immediately, we're gonna have a baby, it's gonna be great. And it's like, let that man get his life together. He barely got his life together, can take care of his own life, and to throw a baby on top of that, y'all are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But they end up stopping by a store and Joey's like, man, I just want to go in there and get something for the boys. You stay here and I'll go in. And she gives him her card. And when I tell you Joey go in there and acts a plumb fool, why did that man go in there and run that lady's card up like it was his? He came out spending $300 and something, and he had all these big ass boxes coming out. And she was looking like, yo, you went overboard. All he talking about is, man, it's worth it, to see the smile on their face, and all she's thinking is, do you not recall that I told you I'm a single mother and I'm doing this on my own on a teacher's substitute salary? This country don't give a goddamn about its people, let alone teachers. So I was just baffled when he really spent that lady's money like it was his. Like, oh yeah, we gonna give it to him. Like, it's so worth it to see the smile on their faces. And she got her car back, like, give me my car back. Like, yo, you wildin'. I would have been pissed. I would have told him to send that shit right back in there. Return to sender. I rebuke thee in the name of Jesus. But they make it home and it's Christmas time. So this will be like the first Christmas that they've all spent together. His mom is super excited. She hugs him and everything. And the mom is just wanting him to, find a wife and have kids and all these things. So she's, a little bit in the la la land of it all too, that Joey could have this, this plutonic like household that we're so used to seeing. But also in the back of her head, she understands that her son Joey likes a little bit of drugs. Okay, drop down the comments if you know where that's from. The drugs. All right. So they start getting dressed. The boys come out. They put their pajamas on, and they're decorating the Christmas tree. And Kim's all excited. They're putting the boys to bed. But it's just still the reality of like, okay, it's starting. Like, now, Joey, you are going to be involved in these boys' life. You're going to have to be a father to them. Can you hack it? And Kim, to put your children at risk like that, it just and then that man, that nigga stole your dad's dirt bike. He did. But sometimes you just see like women be so desperado. It's just like I just couldn't imagine doing that myself. Like, I literally just, it's Confucius to me. Like, it's just oil and water. I don't compute. Like, I'm like a computer with like the little tumbling sign on the screen, just going in circles. Like, it's not computing. I don't know I just can't fathom doing that. But yeah, we're gonna see how things go with Joey and if he's gonna be able to hack it when it comes to being a father to these kids. Cause it's always fine and dandy talking about it. That's really what it is. Like, a lot of these dudes do that cell phone, that jail talk, and these women fall for it a lot of the times. And it's like all their family members usually be saying, yeah, it's all good and dandy. Oh, we're so good, this and that. And it's like, but y'all just talking on the phone. Like, it's not real life. So yeah, it's good right now, but let's see if he's gonna put, words to action. But let's go on to the next couple. All right, y'all. So this episode, we were introduced to a new couple. This is Bianca and Daniel. So from what I saw, I might have missed a little piece of Bianca's backstory, but for the most part, from what I see, she's a young girl who got a little bit of money. All right, she's we've seen a few of these ladies who get a little settlement from something that's happened in their life, and they go squandering it away with some niggas in jail. So Bianca, she ended up getting in a car with her friend that I guess was under the influence, and they ran into a bridge, and she literally couldn't talk for like 3 months. And so because of that, she said, I just wanted to reach out to people who understood what I was going through. And for some reason, that got her to prison pen pals, because she, in her mind, was thinking, oh, they possibly could understand, being in a drunk driving situation or just a car accident. Like, she was just searching very clearly, because I could imagine not being able to speak for 3 months and, having your neck sewn into, I get the stress and anxiety that comes with being in the hospital because of the accident I've had myself, and where you're just in the hospital and you're just literally stuck there with nothing but time. And so but for me though, that didn't get me going to prison pen pals. Bianca, that's what she decided was going to be her escape. So she ends up getting in contact with Daniel, and long story short, it's so facto, she's so in love and ready to leave her family, and she's been doing nothing but spending money on this man. And so she's talking to her friend, and her friend's trying to get her to see the reality of, okay, when he gets out, like, I don't want you just like taking care of him, are you just gonna be the one paying for everything? And she's like, well, I want to, because in her mind, she's also got this savior complex. She's like, oh, Daniel's been through so much, his life, he's had a rough life, and, he's getting out of prison. Like, he deserves to, and it's like, what do you mean he's getting out of prison? He deserves, to basically be spoiled in a sense. In her mind, she's like, him getting out of prison means that I should take care of him because he's been through so much in his life. But Bianca, he's in prison because of decisions that he's made. It wasn't just like it was mistreatment or by accident. He made those decisions. And so she's 23, and kind of find out Daniel's like 30, 32 or something like that. So there's a very obvious age gap. And so her friend was just like, you need to think about this. Like, what is he gonna do for work? Like, you're moving down there, you're not gonna have any support. Like, and all she's thinking, like, it doesn't matter, because she's one of those girls, like, we're in love, just as long, we love each other, and we're gonna, make it through it. And it's just like, oh, so young and so dumb. And it's just like, sometimes these girls just, you learn as you get older that love is not enough. Buki, just a piece of advice, letting you know, love ain't enough. But she ends up going with her friend, her guy friend, I forgot what his name was. And they just, basically were catching up. She's trying to see everybody because she's literally leaving in like a few days. So she wants to basically do her, goodbye run with everybody. And so she's sitting with her friend in the car, and they're just basically talking about like what's like going to be like for her. And she's like, it's just gonna be me and Daniel. And yes, I'm, nervous, but I want to do it because I love him. And, it's gonna be the both of us. And she actually, y'all, purchased an apartment and paid it off for like 4 months ahead of time. And it's like, whoa, girl, what are you doing? She's purchased this apartment to basically stay in while he's supposed to be in the halfway house. But Daniel, he's like True. He don't like following the motherfucking rules. He talk about, oh yeah, all I gotta do is tell my halfway house person, because I ain't staying there, And then her friend is hearing this on the phone and is like, that sounds like trouble. Like, if you want to get out and, live your life and all these type of things, breaking the rules the minute you get out is a problem. And so now he's looking at his friend like, you're hearing him say all of these things and it's not concerning you. And so he decides he wants to talk to Daniel by himself. And so he was just being a concerned friend. Like, okay, do you love my friend? What's going to happen when you get out? I'm hearing you talk about like, oh, you're going to stay at this apartment that she basically paid off. But it's like, don't you need to be in the halfway house? And he literally got smart with the friend talking about, well, I do what works for me and it will. And it's like, is it though? You talking about you do what works for you. And it's like, is it working though? Because you're in jail. So you need to drop, the macho man act, and you need to bring the ego down, because clearly your actions aren't working for you. And if you continue doing what you're doing, not to mention he also is a ex-addict or alcoholic. And Bianca, she 23, talking about like, you're not going to be able to tell me not to drink. Like, I'm not the one with the problem. And it's like, oh, you're so immature. How are you with somebody understanding like, she thinks like he's got it because he's telling her, oh, I'm good. But Daniel lying, he in jail and admitted that he relapsed like twice already in prison. So it's like, this girl is having all faith in whatever this man is telling her, while everybody else is like, hey, I'm seeing red flags. But all she's thinking is like, well, I love him and, I can do it, because she feels comfortable with the fact that she has this money in her back pocket to be able to handle things, and if you think that man staying in that apartment with you for 4 months while he's supposed to be in a halfway house is going to end well, girl, you got another thing coming. And so when he said that slick shit to that friend was like, oh yeah, girl, this is a problem. And so she ends up calling his mom. Now, his mom is also excited. A part of me feels like it's because she knows her son done locked down a girl who got a little bit of money, okay? And so I feel like that mama knows about the money. I feel like Daniel probably said something to the mama, but she's all happy and excited and ready for her to come down. And then the dad was in the background. And he said some slick stuff like, how's your mental health? And he's like, is your mental health strong enough? And the mom was like, oh my God, he's just kidding. He's a nutcase. And it's like, Bianca, take heed to what the daddy is saying. You want to sit here and try to have a slick ass, smart, sarcastic remark talking about, oh, how I'm doing. How is your son doing? Like, as his dad, how, for Daniel to have that as somebody to look up to is just so crazy. And it was like, girl, you entitled little selfish, like, princess. You are another glutton for punishment. Sometimes some people are only going to learn by running into the wall until they knock themselves clean on out. And this is one of those situations. And literally the friend is just looking at her. You're not thinking of anything. Because also, come to find out, y'all, Daniel got a child that's 13 years old. And she's like, well, it doesn't concern me. Like, that don't really concern me until, like, if we get married or something like that. And it's like, because he don't have custody. Like, he's supposed to get custody. And it's like, you just are so stupid. That's really the only word I can think of. It's stupid. But we gonna see how it plays out, y'all. But from one stupid slash love struck girl to another, let's go ahead and end on Shante and True. All right, y'all. Last but not least, we have Shante and True. And y'all, for real, I'm not gonna lie. A part of me deep down does feel bad for Shante because it's just it's very clear that this is a situation once again of a girl who's insecure and hasn't really necessarily worked through her issues. For those of you who haven't watched, Shante has been through a situation where she's been, essayed by multiple men. It was a gang grape situation, and I think she holds on to the fact that True was the person that was there supporting her when this situation happened. But she's gonna have to let go of that because True, the minute he got out, they did the dude. The next morning Nika was gone. Okay, he hit the road runner with the meet out of there. Okay, y'all. He said meet and was out there with his sister dipping it and doing it. And Shante is already feeling, like she said, stupid. And so now that True's back in the house, he's doing everything to communicate with her. And all she can say to this man is, I'm cool. Oh, I'm just chilling. I'm cool. And True is like, can you say something else? That's literally, she shuts down and she's not emotionally equipped to talk about her feelings, let alone knows the words to describe her feelings. And so when True is trying to do everything he can to pull, a conversation out of her, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of side with True when it comes to that. But it doesn't make it right what he's doing because he over there got the sister, the friend that's gonna meet him at the gym, while you telling Shante that, well, we gonna still be together. I'm gonna go back with you. I'm gonna parole to your house. But, let's just say we working on things. And so now Shantae's outside feeling dumb because she's like, I done spent 3 years and so much money on this man for him to come out of jail, break off an engagement and just say, well, we working on things. The fuck? Like, what? Sir, I done spent 3 years and way over $30,000 over you. And then she lost her job, y'all. She lost her job with this man. And so now he's out and already with the sister, she taking him to the gym and she got her friend who was interested in him while he was locked up on the way. And True ain't gonna turn it down. He's a dog. And he to explain to Shante basically in a sense of like, the way he said it was just so like, I'm gonna say this just so I can keep her on the line. Like, yeah, we go together. Like, yeah, we together. And so she's like, okay. And so he's like, that's all you got to say? And she's like, I'm cool. I'm chilling. And it's like, Shante, if you don't open your goddamn mouth and check this dude. But I think she's, all the things that she's calling True, like, you're so dumb. Like, I'm so annoyed with you. Like, you just don't be thinking. I think she's saying those things to him because that's what she thinks about herself. I think all the anger that she is projecting on the True is all the anger she has towards herself because she continued in something that she knew was basically bull. And she allowed her emotions to get the best of her to sit there and not only support this man, but, now that he's out, you lose your job and everything, you got kids to take care of. I think she's feeling just really disappointed in herself most of all, but just like hurt on top of that. So when she broke down crying, I did feel bad. But it's like in these situations when these women be playing, boo boo the fool for a nigga, it's like that's the last thing you should do. And so that's where the episode ended, y'all, with True at the gym and Shante at the house talking about she chilling, she cool. So that's it, y'all. Y'all drop down in the comments and tell me what you feel about this episode of Love After Lockup. How do you guys feel about Kim and Joey? Do you feel like Shante, is her emotional capacity one of the reasons why True ain't, feeling her? And what do you guys think about the new couple, Bianca and Daniel? What do you think about her having this settlement and paying for this man? All right, y'all. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I will catch you later. Deuces.